So welcome back. In our last sessions, we discussed different types of issues in developing a supply chain network. Developing a supply chain network is meaning the location of facilities, the role of facilities and the sizes of facilities. But all those decisions which we took in our earlier sessions are with respect to a very certain type of environment. But we all know the environment is not certain, and particularly in case of India, in recent past we all have seen that there are a lot of uncertainty in the external environment, and those uncertainties must affect the supply chain decisions. If you do not take into account those uncertainties, it is very difficult to develop a very responsive type of supply chain. Responsive, the meaning here is the supply chain which can handle the challenges of the existing environment. So for that purpose, it is quite necessary that we need to evolve our models, we need to evolve our calculations so that our decisions are with respect to uncertainty of the environment. So now in this session we will focus that what are the different types of uncertainties and how to design a network, how to design a supply chain with respect to those uncertainty in the external environment. So now let us see the outline of this lecture, and here we will see the impact of uncertainty on the network design. Now when we talk of impact of uncertainty on the network design, so first thing which we are looking since last 2-3 lectures, that supply chain decisions include investments in number and sizes of the plants, then your transportation facilities, the number of warehouses you want to have, and probably after warehouses the role of customer comes. So if I am Maruti Udyog Limited, if I am Hero Honda, if I am LG, if I am Samsung, so I look up to that stage where I need to provide the finished goods in my warehouse. So these are the decisions which I am looking with respect to network design, and where uncertainty can play a very important role. Now another important thing with respect to network design, that you cannot change these decisions. The very important point here is that these are long term decisions. These are very long term decisions, and it is easily not possible to change these decisions in the short term. You are developing a facility. The point is very simple, that you are developing a facility like let us say a manufacturing facility. Now developing a manufacturing facility, a plant for making motorbikes will take 2 years or 3 years of time. You are developing a facility like refinery, it may take 4 years of time. Now when it is taking such a long time in just erecting the facility, so you can very well understand that it is not possible that you should change these decisions in the short term. So you have to be very thorough, very practical, pragmatic, so that whatever decisions you take, these are long term decisions. So that is the second important point, that whatever decisions we are taking with respect to uncertainty, these decisions cannot be changed in the short term. These are long term decisions. Then another important point is there will be a good deal of uncertainty in demand. Demand increases, decreases. You talk of demand of these air filter which we wear on our like mask. Last year in the month of October and November in NCR area, there was a severe problem of smog, and the demand of mask, the air filter, increases all of a sudden to a very high level. But do you think, can we develop a new manufacturing facility all of a sudden to fulfill that excessive demand of air filters, which was highly uncertain. Nobody has predicted, no weather forecast was there that this type of demand may come. But all of a sudden, there was something in the external environment, the happening of Deepavali, the crop cutting at Punjab and Haryana, and all that things happened simultaneously. There was no wind in the air so that it can take away all that pollutants from the air, and it was like night in the day, and as a result demand of those products increases. So there are fluctuations with respect to demand, with respect to prices. You have another example, same in India. The issue of demonetization came in the November last year, and as a result of that, prices of so many products, particularly if I talk of gold, the prices of gold started crushing down. The gold was considered to be one of the very important type of investment in India, but because of the issue of demonetization, the prices of gold starts decreasing. So the uncertainty is there with respect to prices also. You have a increasing trend of prices, but all of a sudden something happens and prices may decrease, or something may happen, prices may shoot up. In India, many a times we hear stories about escalating prices of onions, escalating prices of pulses, and that is also the part of uncertainties with respect to prices. Then exchange rates, the dollar versus rupee, pound versus rupee, yen versus rupee. So that type of uncertainties are also there. And then the uncertainties with the competitive market over the lifetime of a supply chain network. That how the competitive landscape of the market will change, these uncertainties will also be there. We know few years back, Nokia was one of the popular market, one of the popular brand of mobile phones. So in country like India, if you ask anybody which mobile you want to have, Nokia was the popular answer. But now what is the situation? Nokia is almost nowhere. The Samsung and then lot of Chinese brands and lot of local Indian brands are also making a good space, a good presence in the mobile market of India. So the competitive landscape of the market of a particular product in the supply chain over its time is also very uncertain. Once upon a time, Bajaj scooters was the pioneer two-wheeler of this country, and nowadays even scooter product is nowhere in the market. Forget about Bajaj. Bajaj has also shifted from scooter to motorbike. So there are plenty of such examples where over the lifetime of a product the competitive situation changes, and initially we know that Sony cameras used to compete with the Kodak cameras. Kodak cameras used to compete with Canon cameras. But nowadays what is happening? Sony cameras are competing with the camera of Apple, which is inbuilt in the mobile phone. So that's a new type of competition which is coming up. So it is not necessary that competition may come from your own product. Over the lifetime of a product, competition may come from a different category of product. One newspaper is not competing with another newspaper, but one newspaper may compete with another sports, newspaper may compete with televisions, newspaper may compete with social media. So you know that different types of things are happening in the environment, and therefore this uncertainty with respect to competitive market over the lifetime is also a very important type of uncertainty, and you need to be ready to face the challenges coming from the competition in your market. Therefore, what we say that building flexibility into supply chain operations allows the supply chain to deal with uncertainty in a manner that will maximize the supply chain surplus. The answer for handling the uncertainty is to build to infuse the element of flexibility in your supply chain. With flexibility in your supply chain, you can probably handle all these issues. But what is the flexibility? What is the optimum level of flexibility? How much flexibility we should build into our supply chain? A system which is completely flexible cannot survive. A system which is completely rigid also cannot survive. So you need to have a balance of rigidity and flexibility. So in this particular session, and then few more sessions after this, we will discuss that how much flexibility, at what stage of the supply chain that flexibility should be included, and the impact of uncertainty on the network design is now concluded that for that purpose we need to have flexible supply chains. Without flexible supply chains, you cannot handle uncertainty of the network design. Now, for that purpose, there are different types of modeling approaches to develop the concept of uncertainty in the supply chain network. One of the approach is discounted cash flow analysis. One of the approach is discounted cash flow analysis. Now, supply chain decisions, as we discussed just now, are very long term decisions. When we are talking of developing of a facility, in that case it is certainly a very long term decision. You cannot develop a new depot, you cannot develop a new warehouse in one night. You can take some decisions which are for the short term. You can start outsourcing all of a sudden, you can stop outsourcing because demand is not there. So that type of decisions are possible within very limited time. But developing a facility like warehouse, developing a facility like manufacturing is not a short term decision, and therefore supply chain decisions are for long time. So they should be evaluated as a sequence of cash flows over that period. Now, when I am developing a manufacturing facility and I feel that the life of this facility is 20 years or 25 years, I am developing a warehouse, I consider the life of warehouse is 30 years. So in 30 years time, how much cash flow will be generated? How much cash flow is generated? On the basis of that, we will take decisions. So this is one very simple method where over the alternatives which are available to us, we will calculate that which alternative is giving how much cash flow to us, and depending upon that cash flow, we will take the decision that whichever alternative gives us maximum cash flow, maximum positive cash flow, that is the choice for our network decision. So now, what is this discounted cash flow analysis? So this DCF, discounted cash flow analysis, evaluates the present value of any stream of future cash flows and allows managers to compare different cash flows in terms of their financial value. The meaning is that if you have some money today in your pocket, that is more valuable than what you are going to get tomorrow. The money, the last point says this, based on the time value of money. This is a very important concept. In the classes of finance and accounts, you must have heard about time value of money. Even in the classes of economics also, you have heard about time value of money. In the classes of project management also, you would have heard about time value of money. So we will not go into detail of time value of money analysis, but time value of money says that a rupee today is worth more than a rupee tomorrow. So if you have 1 rupee today and 1 rupee can buy 1 kg of rice for you. If you have 1 rupee today, and today with that 1 rupee you can buy 1 kg of rice. Now after 1 year again you have 1 rupee in your pocket, but at that time you will not be able to buy 1 kg of rice with that rupee. You may be able to buy 900 grams, 800 grams of rice from that 1 rupee. So it means now the purchasing power of that rupee has decreased by 100 grams or 200 grams over 1 year span. So that is the time value of money, that a rupee which is today in your pocket, it is more valuable than what you are going to get tomorrow. So based on that, we will calculate in this discounted cash flow analysis, we will calculate the present value of various future cash flows over a period of time which we are going to get, and then we will see that what is the total present cash flow value of various alternatives. So now going further, the formula for such calculation, if we see, so in that K, this K is the rate of return. Normally in our day to day discussion, we say that K is nothing but rate of interest. K is nothing but rate of interest. In our language of supply chain or in the language of finance and accounts, we say K is rate of return. So this becomes the discounting factor 1 upon 1 by K. The meaning of discounting factor is, if I am today having, this is 2017, 1 January. So I will get on 1 January 2018 rupees 100. So what will be the I want to know what will be the value of this 100 rupees which I am going to get on 1st January 2018 on this 1st January 2017. And as I am saying, the value of today money is more than what I am going to get tomorrow. So what is the meaning of discounted factor? That today's 90 rupees, let's say I take simply a statement just to explain you that today's 90 rupees may be 100 rupees of tomorrow. Today's 90 rupees is equivalent to 100 rupee of tomorrow. So I need to calculate that if I am going to get 100 rupees tomorrow, what is the value of that 100 rupee in today's context? What is the value of that 100 rupee in today's context? So that is the use of discounted factor. So I will multiply this 100 by that discounted factor. So 100 into 1 upon 1 plus K. So if it is let's say rate of return is 10%. So 100 upon 1 plus 0.1. So 100 upon 1.1. So that will be the present value of that money. So this is the use of this discount factor. Now then you have the total net present value. The second formula is for total net present value. I am going to get not only on 2018, the project or my warehouse, my factory is for 10 years. So 2018, 19, 20 and so on, for next 10 years I am going to get some cash flows. It is 100 rupees here, then 1000, then 10,000, then 50,000, then 75,000, so on like that. So I will like to calculate the present value on 1st January 2017 of all those future streams of cash flows, and for that purpose here I come with this formula, that is C naught is the cash flow which I am getting today. Cash flow which I am getting today, in many a times this C naught is negative also, because today I am not getting any positive cash flow. The cash flow which I am receiving is represented as a positive cash flow, and cash flow which is going from my pocket is represented as negative cash flow. So the first year, because I am putting my money into that facility development, so in most of the cases we will see that C naught is negative. Most of the time C naught is negative, and then this second term in this expression represents the sum of all the future cash flows and their present values. So CT is like for 2018 we discussed, CT is 100 rupees, T becomes 1 and 1 plus 1k. If I am getting in 2019, if I am getting in 1st January 2019, let's say 1000 rupees. So in that case, I want to calculate its present value. So it will be 1000 multiplied by 1 upon 1 plus k to the power 2, because now it is 2 years back. So that is this term. So if there are total T periods for which I am going to get the cash flows, so this is how you will get the sum of those future cash flows with their present values. So this becomes the total net present value in this cash of discounted cash flows. So this we will compare this cash flow option, this total net present value, we will compare for different alternatives, different supply chain design options, and on the basis of that, the option which gives me the highest net present value, the highest NPV, that will give me the highest financial return. Because financial return or the supply chain surplus is the objective which we discussed in the very first session, that we want to maximize the supply chain surplus. So we will do this calculation so that my supply chain surplus is increased, and with the help of this example of one company known as ABC Logistics, we will see the use of this NPV method. And in this case, the example is that how much space to lease in the next 3 years. This is the objective. Now demand is 1 lakh units. It requires 1000 square feet of space for every 1000 units of demand. The revenue is $1.22 per unit of demand. Now what are the alternatives which are available? The alternatives are, decision is whether to sign a 3-year lease or obtain warehouse space on the spot market. The 3-year lease cost is $1 per square feet and spot market cost is $1.2, $1.20 per square feet. So spot market is slightly costlier, and the rate of return is 10%. The rate of return is 10%, which is also written as 0.1. So this is the data available to us, and now we will use this NPV method. Now for leasing warehouse space on the spot market, one option is to consider the spot market, and other option is to have 3-year lease, and the second option is the spot market. Now taking the calculation of the spot market, in the calculation of spot market, the expected annual profit is this 1 lakh units, and the data for revenue from 1 unit is 1.22. So this is the profit, and this is the cost of the space, 1.2 square per square feet. So because for 1000 square feet is useful for 1000 units of demand. So if you have 1 lakh units, you require 1 lakh square feet. So total area is this much. So you have the annual profit of $2000. Now cash flow for 3 years will be $2000 each year when you are going for the spot market, no lease. So 2000 in the first year, 2000 in the second year, and 2000 in the third year. For each of 3 years you are getting 2000, and for first year the rate of return is 1 plus k, 1 upon 1 Then for the second, as I explained there, it becomes 1.1 the whole square. So it is 1.21. The calculation yields the total net present value of 3 years cash flow is $5,471. That is with case of spot market. Now, before I go for the next slide, I request my students that they should practice the same calculation with the leased option. They practice the same calculation with the leased option, and I am waiting for a moment that you complete your calculation, and then you can match your results with our results, that when we are going for leasing of warehouse. So this is the expected profit, annual profit, this is the revenue, and this is the cost of the land. So our profit is now 22,000, and 22,000 is the profit we are going to get, and because of that our cash flows 22,000, 22,000, 22,000, and this is the factor of return 1.1 and 1.1 to the square. So our total net present value of cash is 60,182, and you can see it was 5,471 earlier, and now it is 60,000. So there is a difference of around 54,711, which is significantly higher. So now you have a very clear option. You have a very clear option that you will decide to sign the lease. You will not go to the spot market, because in case of spot market our profit has just $5,000, and here the present value of our profits is 60,000, which is much higher, and therefore our decision is this. Now in this particular case, we were very sure. Now can I ask you one question, that this is a case of again lot of certainty in the market. Lot of certainties are there in the market, but it is quite possible that you may need to rethink your decision because of uncertainties in demand and cost. Now in case you have signed this lease for 3 years, so you need to pay this much rent because you have taken this much space. So whether you are able to sell this much or not, irrespective of that, you have to pay this much amount to the other party, to the provider of the space, and in that case your net present value may significantly go down. It is also possible that here for 3 years we have taken a flat rate of return 10%. It may also change with time, and some predictability you can do that next year it will be 10% rate of return, and after that it may be 15%, and then it may be 16%, etc. So in that case also you can have different denominators here. If you have different rate of returns, so according to those different rate of returns you may have different denominators, because here we took same rate of return for all the periods, we have same value of k in denominator for all the years. Now what I was saying, that in spot market, though here it looks that our profits are very less, our net present value is just 5,400 rupees. In case of leased arrangement it is 60,000, but it is quite possible that you are not able to use this much space. You see your data that you require 1,000 square feet of space for 1,000 units. Now if in a particular year on a day-to-day basis, after second year you realize that the demand for next year may be just 10,000 units. For some reason you realize that demand is just 10,000 units. So you will take only 10,000 square feet for 10,000 units, and in that case you can save lot of money which you are giving to your space provider. But in case of this leased arrangement, you have no such option. So therefore, uncertainty in demand and cost many a times force us not to go for long term relations, not to go for long term this type of lease relation. Though here with the data, because we have not infused the element of uncertainty in this example yet, we are only considering that you have all rate of return, you have a fixed demand, you have fixed cost, everything is fixed, and in that case obviously with this simple calculation we can conclude that this leased arrangement is a suitable arrangement. But when we go for uncertainty, there will be two types of representation of uncertainty that we will discuss in our next session. So here, without any kind of uncertainty, our discounted cash flow model is a very suitable model to take decision about different type of supply chain alternatives. In our next session, we will see that how we are going to inbuild the element of uncertainty in the network decisions. Thank you very much.